Good morning and welcome to the show, and thanks for waking up with us this morning. Do you have a messy closet? Do you have a wire system that's driving you crazy? Well, I've got a guy here who can actually change your life by getting you organized. I've got Stan Coulthard here from Organized Spaces. Stan, thanks so much for coming on the show. You know, that's kind of the standard. I mean, we have a new house, and we've got this wire stuff with a shelf that you hang your things on. And I remember in the old house, if you put enough stuff on there, it comes down.
Yeah, it's the wire. It's not if it's going to come down, it's when it's going to come down. And it'll be the worst time possible. Like
it's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. It'll happen when you're in a rush getting ready for work in the morning, and the whole mess will come down, and you look, oh, it's a shelf. And people put books and albums and all kinds of things up there, and you can only stack that so hard. That wire gives out. Now, your Organized Spaces business gives us a solution to that. What is the solution?
The solution is custom wood shelving. What I do is 3/4 inch melamine wood. An 8-foot section will support 1,200 pounds.
Wow.
Been doing this 7 years. I've never been back to a closet that fell. It has lifetime warranty on it. And the most important thing is, though, what I do is I come out and I go over with the customer what they have to store, how they like to store. Some people like to fold a lot of clothes. Some people only want to do hanging. But we discuss how and what's going there. And then we custom design around their needs. And my wife calls it a princess closet because once you have one, you feel like a princess.
Wow. Our problem is shoes. and we bought some shelving for shoes and all, but it's still kind of a mess,
You have to plan ahead. And if you know shoes are going to be an issue, which they are for most women, shoes are a big thing. And so we have some great ways to store shoes that are adjustable. We can make some little short ones for your flip-flops, some taller for high heels, and then we can fit some boots in. And
what got you into this business?
Well, it was really kind of an accident. Me and my wife would buy older homes and remodel, and at the time, the only thing available was wire, and I'd put them up, make sure they were in the studs, everything, and she's a banker, has lots of clothes, and they would fall down. And I just got tired of it. We bought a house, remodeled, had a nice big walk-in closet, and I said, look, I'm just not going to put the wire back up to fall. So I started doing the research, and nope, there really wasn't anyone in town doing anything other than wire. So I got on the internet, did some research, found a company to buy. I bought the company, and my house was the first job.
And I want to talk about the success of your house and your closet system after our local weather, brought to you by the West Pittman Law Firm, westpittmanlawfirm.com. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Stan Coulthard from Organized Spaces, and he's going to tell us how he organized his life with a new closet. So, just to kind of recap, you were fixing up houses and selling them. The only closet systems were those wire systems that everybody seems to have. And your wife's clothes your closet couldn't stand up to the strain of your wife's clothes, and yours, of course. So you came up with a better mousetrap somehow and bought this company.
Yeah, I bought a company that specializes in custom wood shelving. I come out to a home, I measure the space, talk to the customers about what they have to store and how they like to store it. If you do the homework up front, you end up with a beautiful closet that truly does simplify your life. Because if everything has a place, it's easier to keep everything in its place.
So I could call you and say, here are my needs. I got 1,000 different colored shirts. They're all jumbled up over here. I've got slacks, I got this, I got that. So you would kind of sit down, have an interview, maybe look at the space and make some suggestions?
Exactly. I did one closet for a guy, and he was a fanatic on doing his laundry. And we had 6 hampers in his closet. But I mean, And so we can do anything you want. Everything is custom, down to 1/8 of an inch.
So it really fits the individual's lifestyle.
Exactly.
Not this one-size-fits-all wire stuff that we all are kind of stuck with, really.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's an inexpensive shelving system, the wire, I suppose.
It is. It's inexpensive. What I do, I'll be honest with you, it's not inexpensive, but what it does is it brings value to your life and value to your home.
Sure.
If you're going to end up selling a home at some point, the selling points in a home, ladies buy homes.
Right, right.
We go along for the ride.
Pretty much.
And what's going to sell?
My house was all about a kitchen.
Yeah,
when we
it's
bought our
kitchen.
house. Yeah.
It's kitchens and storage, because the ladies of the home know that if you don't have good storage, every day's an aggravation.
Yeah, and who cares if you got a lot of closets if they're not set up right?
Exactly.
And I got to tell you, it is a selling point.
Oh, a huge selling point.
So is it hugely expensive, or is it just an investment you'd make in your home like any other improvement?
It is. It's kind of like, people ask me all the time, how much does it cost? And I answer this way: how much does it cost to buy a car? Depends on what kind of car you want. If you want something basic and simple, it's really not that expensive. But if you want drawers and hampers and islands and,
I know someone who's putting a vanity in their closet.
Oh, yeah. And so it's kind of like a car. You want something just simple and serviceable. It's not that expensive. But I have done $40,000 closets.
Wow.
But that was somebody that wanted a showplace. And it was as big as most
you've got
bedrooms.
the whole spectrum.
Right.
It sounds like. If somebody wanted to learn more about this or get in touch with you, what could they do?
They could go to my website at ourorganizedspaces.biz.
Or they can just call you, I'm sure.
Or they can call me at 850-896-1075.
Thanks so much for coming on the show, and get your closets organized. Give them a call. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is David Lovett, and this is your Mad Hatter Minute. Preventative maintenance is critical to keeping your vehicle running properly. Everyone knows that you need to change the engine oil and do periodic tune-ups, but no one remembers to do the timing belt. The timing belt is part of your vehicle that's located behind the timing cover, and it's not visible when you open your hood. It's a rubber belt, just like your serpentine belt or V-belts that are visible when you open your hood. Timing belts synchronize the rotation of the engine's camshaft and crankshaft so that the valves open and close at the proper strokes. Some vehicles have engines that are called interference engines, which means that the valves open and close based off the rotation of the timing belt. Pistons move up and down, valves move up and down. Should that timing belt break while you're driving, pistons continue to move, the valves drop, and there's a likelihood that the piston will strike the valve and either bend the valve or actually puncture the piston. Should your timing belt break while you're driving, it could be a very expensive repair, or it could be a complete engine replacement. Don't be surprised if the shop replacing the timing belt also recommends replacing the cam seals and the crank seals. It's best to spend a few extra dollars to have those seals replaced when you're doing the timing belt, rather than run the risk of getting oil all over the brand new timing belt and have the timing slip. Best advice is to change the engine timing belt every 60,000 miles. I am David Lovett, and that has been your Mad Hatter Minute.
Hey folks, this is Joshua Brown with Mad Hatter on 23rd Street. Is your check engine light on? If it is, text MADHAT28, that's MADHAT28, to 24247 and we'll check it for free.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Heather Noyes from Raymond James Financial to get some financial tips for the holiday season. Welcome back to the show, Heather. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Love what you've done with your hair.
Well, thank you.
Yes. Beside killing time. No, we probably need to talk about what we need to do. I mean, it's toward the end of the year. Holiday season is here. I hate to be a buzzkill on the holidays, but there probably are some things we need to be doing because tax time is right around the corner.
Absolutely. There's a lot of year-end things that you need to consider when it comes to your investment, your portfolios, your retirement planning. And a lot of people wait until next year, particularly to do the tax planning, when they start getting those the documents in, the 1099s,
Sure.
and they know they've got to file their taxes. Then they start scrambling. What can I do? What can I do? You know, to cut down my taxes. Well, it's a little late if you wait till next year.
Yeah.
So there are some things that really you should consider right now.
And what are some of those things?
Well, one of the big things is looking back at your portfolio and looking at any gains that you may have taken throughout the year. We've had a lot of volatility. Maybe you did some repositioning throughout the year, sold some things, bought some things, but look at and see what your realized gain or loss is for the year. It's possible that maybe you have a loss, but if you have throughout the year realized some gains, then look at your portfolio for other opportunities of something that maybe you could sell at a loss that would offset that gain.
Wow. For tax purposes, toward the end of the year, you want to do that by year's end.
Right.
If you had maybe gotten in a jam during this tax year and you had to take some money out of an IRA, now would be the time to put it back in, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you do have, if you had to take money out of an IRA, you do have a 60-day period to put it back in and it not count as a contribution. So it's like it didn't even happen if you put money back
Distribution,
in.
you're right.
So if you had to take out a lot of money and then you can put it back in within 60 days.
So you got 60 days to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if you didn't do it before. But you still have time to make contributions to an IRA. And that's one of the few things actually that will carry forward into next year, that you have until April of next year to do your IRA contributions. But if you've looked at your account, maybe you've only put a couple thousand in your IRA. You actually can put $5,500 in your IRA, or $6,500 if you're over 50.
So you can lump sum that at the end of the year just to get up to that limit, which is advisable, I suppose, for a lot of people.
And maybe you have a retirement plan at work. You want to make sure, now that you can't carry over into April, but you may want to go talk to your employer about doing, making sure over the last couple months of this year that you get that maximum in. And to a 401k or a 403b, you can put $17,500, and that'll reduce your income for the year. Or if you're over 50, you can put $23,000 in and reduce that income for the year.
Oh, that's good to know, because good grief, we're all getting older. Boy, don't I know that. And at the end of it all, you want to have a good income stream to maintain your lifestyle. And do you find that a lot of people don't necessarily do that, or how are people in general at saving?
It varies. I have one end of the spectrum to the other. I have ones that are just going to barely scrape by, to others that never even use any of their money or use any of the earnings or dividends or anything out of their accounts. So it's really a wide spectrum. But I always try to encourage them to start, and start young. We've talked about that a few times, and participate in your retirement plans as little, as you can. I mean, as much as you can, rather, not as little.
What about gift giving? Is this a good time to do that?
Right. You definitely want to, those have to be done before year end as well.
When I talk about gift giving, I mean, there are legal limits, I suppose, of how much you can give before you start getting taxed on that. And maybe you want to make a contribution to a grandchild's college fund or something like that.
Unfortunately, grandchildren's college funds aren't a tax deduction, but gifts to charities, whether it's a public charity or even some private charities like an alumni, can be a tax deduction for you as well. If you're giving cash, or maybe you're giving securities to a church, or again, somebody like the American Heart Association or something along those lines, you can deduct up to 50% of your income, of your adjusted gross income.
Now, if someone wants to get in touch with you to find out more about it, what do we do?
Just give me a call at 785-9614.
Heather Noyes from Raymond James Financial, thank you so much for getting us smart on this holiday season investing opportunities. And we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Jesse Dees from Emerald Coast Audio Visual Solutions. Jesse, pleasure to meet you.
Thank
we
you,
talked
Don.
with you before the
Thanks
show.
for having us.
And Audio Visual Solutions.
Yes, sir.
I guess if you have an audio visual problem, we would call Jesse Dees to
It
get a
doesn't
solution.
have to be a problem. You may not even realize you need us.
Oh, that's true too. Now, what type of work do you do? I mean, audiovisual solutions kind of encompasses a lot of things. And to the layman, it means maybe TV or concerts, or what does that mean?
Well, typically we started this business doing conferences. Audiovisual. So when companies come into town, they need PA systems and screens and projectors, or when someone has a private party or function, we have PA systems and lighting, staging, and
yeah, I mean, all these hotels on the beach have conference rooms. And what better place to have a conference in the middle of the winter than here in Panama City or Panama City Beach? And then they would probably call you and say, hey, we need maybe some dial-up capability for people who can't make it, or you need some, you know, some really good acoustics in there, you know, I mean.
Well, we don't actually do telephonic things. Our business model is more with PA systems, backline staging and lighting. And
yeah, and that's so important, though. I mean, if you've ever been to a conference where the sound is horrible, or a concert where the sound is horrible, it's, you know, it's almost not even worth going.
It's very expensive to have a conference meeting. It's very expensive, so kind of defeats the purpose if your audience can't hear and see what you're doing. So that's the solutions that we provide. Now, we have another aspect to our business that we've recently launched, and we're moving into home theater and security as well.
Oh, all right.
So that's kind of a new thing for our business model. But I come from a background of audio. I designed and built recording studios prior to relocating to here. So I do have a background in that. So we're kind of excited about the home theater aspect of it.
Yeah.
And then I brought in a person that specifically focuses on security and cameras. So,
you know, that whole media thing for the consumer is becoming more and more important. You know, people are building houses with media rooms just for media. And, you know, you would be the perfect solution to that. So
absolutely. In particular, if we can get to you before you build it, that's great. So we can wire everything correctly.
Yeah, get the wires in the walls, all that stuff, get it all set up for whatever the consumer wants. And security systems aren't just alarms anymore. I mean,
no. We're talking smart houses now. So I've been spending some time in Atlanta studying the Crestron systems and how they work together, the automation of everything from operating your curtains remotely with your smartphone to you know, opening and closing your garage door, adjusting the temperature in your house, obviously locking doors and unlocking doors.
It's real George Jetson stuff that we're into now, isn't it?
Don't you love it?
I do. I actually do. We got to run off to a break, but I want to talk more about the technology, the new technologies in your business after these messages. We'll be right back.
Great.
Welcome back to the show. I'm speaking with Jesse Dees from Emerald Coast Audio Visual Solutions. Jesse, in the last segment, we talked about all the different things you do. You know, the new technologies we talked about for, you know, security systems. We talked about conferences, because there's so many conferences that come. You set up that, you know, audio visual stuff that they may need. But for the regular consumer, you do a lot of work with brides, don't you? And wedding planners and DJs.
Yes, in particular, we work with wedding planners who know the process and the needs. Here on the beach, it's kind of a unique situation down here where a lot of brides, they don't realize they want to have their wedding on the beach, but they don't realize that it can be loud out there and windy out there. Yeah. So we have like battery operated PA systems. So we're accustomed to working with.
Beach weddings present some unique problems. I've been to a few over the years. Some were good, some were not so good.
Yeah, and really the dividing, distinguishing delineation is whether you can hear it or not, in my opinion. Yeah. So that ability to hear the vows.
That's so important.
To make sure that's taken care of. And then we do the backline for receptions and the PA systems for a lot of DJs. We set them up. They come from a lot of them will come from out of town. They'll fly in, and then we'll have all their lights and PA systems set up.
So they would coordinate with you ahead of time.
Or through the wedding planner. I like to work with wedding planners because it's, you know, not their first time doing it.
Oh,
yeah. For brides, they have that learning curve that hopefully they only
yes.
do one time.
You know, brides have enough on their minds before the big day. The last thing in the world they need to be worrying about is, you know, audio-visual stuff. You know, they're worried about centerpieces and all that other stuff.
We
There's a
also
lot that goes into that production.
There is, and now we also have a lot of, and more in the last year or two, parties, outdoor parties for children for some reason.
Yeah.
So we have like an inflatable screen that sets up out in the backyard.
You
and
have those? I've seen those.
yeah, and for some reason that's really caught on lately. I guess it's becoming a fad, but that's
That'd be
good.
great for like a Super Bowl party too.
Awesome for that. We also do those for lots of football and sporting events. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome stuff. I'm gonna have to talk to you about that because a neighbor of
Special
mine
break
did
for
that.
you, brother-in-law deal.
Woohoo, yeah, special break for the host. Well, if Jesse, if somebody wanted to learn more about what you do or wanted to talk to you, whatever, how could we get in touch with you?
Easy. Emerald Coast AV, as in audiovisual.com. Emerald Coast AV.
EmeraldCoastAV.com.
That's us.
We could learn about all your services there,
That and so much more.
and we could actually call you too. What's
You
your number?
can. It's 850-630-3032.
That'll wrap it up for today. We'll see you guys next time.